This is what happens when you want to get a win. And this is what we have. We have loads of drops of blood. This is my dimension. I share it with my demons. And this is my unwinding. Got it going in the best way. And now it's time to read some cards. We've got the dark mirror here. We've got fairies. We've got vamps. Now let's see what they say, these cards, when they're read. Group 1. Great. This is what happened. Naked before the stars. She was running and running. Felt like her end was in sight. She had no one to call. Wasn't a phone there around. She was feeling so anxious, but was too scared to fight. And besides, she was patient, humble, and kind. There was someone there with her, and she wanted to please, but they wanted to kill her, so she fell to her knees. She was begging and begging, but they were not her kind. She had nothing but trouble. It was her time to die. So she made sure she was running. She got up and took off. And she made it look funny. And she got away too. Suckers. So when she got home, she called up her friends. And they even went back and kicked up his ass. He felt so impatient. He felt so abused. Then she followed him home and shot rocks at his head. It was a classic. The girl was a blonde, and that guy was a hater who had his head blown. To tell you the truth, it was funny, it was. And they'll do it again, 'cause they know his whole house. As a matter of fact, they did, and he didn't move. Next card. Masquerade. Times like these makes moments come, and come we'll see what life becomes. This is here, what moment is, so twist me up and blow a chair. Put life again and see me, see your glory come with me between. And I say yes, and true and through, let one speak up, speak nothing too. Let me be heard, let me be real, and speak the truth these cards unveil. Right, so come and come, let me, let Li be loved and liked, and be your queen. Can I get a moment at last? So here I go again, just being your queen. Okay. So what the card was saying is, so there once was a queen who was tossed all about and decided one day she would see her way out. She went to the natives and said one day she'd be seen and have her people come seeing her with smiles all about. And yes, she is perfect and she is so pretty, and ask if she's worth. Yes, she is really. And so are you. So act like it. Alright. Next card. Obsession. So there was. No, there is. There lives a pretty girl, and she looks up to a god who loves to do her wrong. She needs a new god, but she doesn't even know, because she's still just a fool who was blessed with a pretty face. Her man is a slob, and he knows how to dress, but he cares about her a lot, so he presses on her back. A man who presses on a girl's back is trouble. So he cares about her, and he gives her problems, and he tells her, "Lover, you better have no lovers." She gets a little anxious, nothing. She gets a little afraid, and anytime her God watches, he thinks, "Huddy, ha, what a lame." Her God does his magic. He weaves her in webs, and guess what? He did the same thing to her in her past selves and past lives, of course. Her God thinks she's ugly and cares nothing of her looks, and your God does the same. So does Jesus Christ. LOL. These cards never lie. Just be careful who you trust. Now that you know, and you better just believe in your Christian Lord. Oh, brother. Next group. Now. What do you want to do? Do you want a flower? Give me one, give me two, and don't you forget, I'm the queen with the gems. Alright, now let's get into this next group. Group 2, Flower by Flower. This card is intuition. It's a point and a start. And here is a story about a fairy in a graveyard. She was born on a tomb in the room filled with ghosts. And the ghosts, they all knew when the fairies had their child. It was time, so sublime are their lives, because a fairy in the graveyard is a fairy full of fame. These fairies are different. Their lives are full of events, and they get to see the ghosts, and they help them manifest. So the fairies from the graveyard, they don't ever have a bad day, and the fairies in the graveyard are the baddest in their lane. How hype is that? And these fairies in the graveyard don't pick no fights with them, because fairies in the graveyard have magic to the end. They bend the realm itself. They hide from everything. They even hide from ghosts. They even hide from themselves. They hunt. They hunt. These fairies, they love to chop off wings. But now that we're in the future, they show off their things. Good change. Next card. This card is creation. It means a lot to you and me. And these fairies gotta love ya when you call them by their names. I don't know about you, but these fairies have the cutest little names. And I don't know about you, but these fairies definitely can't live without food. They love a next meal. So anyway, back to the card. They create the best meals. Then they share them with us. They make us just think about dinner after lunch. They give us good insight. They play with our minds. They help us create new ideas about food and good cloths. They give you the answer. Some know and some don't. So every time you have a brain fart, say fairies, come help. These fairies are awful adventurous. They follow you to work. They'll even take the bus with you. They live at home between your plants. They love coming up with solutions. Giving you answers is a must. These fairies are braver than you think. They love to come and see you, and they love to come and live. Next card. This card is communication. It's about how fairies talk. They have their own languages, something similar to ours. Theirs is a little different, but they have words like ours. Some even only talk English and have accents and all. These fairies really are the cutest. They always know just what to do. We should learn how to talk to them. They have jobs like ours too. Some are astronauts, some are scientists, and some are doctors, teachers, and dentists. Some are even plumbers. Some just tend to plants, and some of them go to school, and some are always late to class. Some are really special. All of them are rare. But the ones who don't have wings just usually stay at home and complain about the ones that do. They don't really know them. They don't deliver mail, or at least not yet, or at least not to them. But they have small computers, even small TVs. But they don't have small shoes, but they do have cute flats and heels. What do you have? Next group. Group 3. Drops of blood. It started in Egypt. The drinking. It was an immortal act. It turned you into something else. It made you into something beyond a ghost. It gave you extraordinary gifts, some too hard to believe, and it was only for the rich, and the poor would have to leave. It made you super different. It made you want to pray. For them, it would be scary. For the vamp, it would be play. It was fun, and it was hot. It was a party every night, but the day, it was a value for the workers, not for the vamps. They wanted power, not the love. They wanted vengeance if they need. But one thing they lived without was that burning, blazing sun. None could take it. It was hot. Not one of them could stand the pain. And some were just so magic, they would burst and blaze away and cry before death. It was sad when one would go because their community was awful close, and they also had a war with the Norman who would know. They wanted to stake them and prosecute the witches. It was a war that they had. Everyone magic versus them, but even them were doing magic. They rang bells every day at 6 p.m. and lived by the book. They didn't want them to exist. The vamps only wanted them for food. They even started casting up their own spells and using herbs and foods they hate. They even wanted to give them curses and even wanted to call them names. And they wanted to hunt them all to end of their race. So they started to turn them all into vampires. And it was the end of the war when that happened. And they still feel bitter about it. And they know how to turn you back now. So this was ancient Egypt, taking it way, 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 way back. They didn't even have buses. Ha! So that was the enemy. They were nowhere near friends. And forget about onions and garlic. It's rotten cursed to hell and back, around and around. Amen. Just kidding. Or am I? Let's divinate. Next card. This card is seduction, allure, desire, and manipulation through magic and power. These vampires do magic and they work on the scene, and they even have royalty, and they only drink blood from the pure. These vampires are not friendly. They don't like these humans, none. They don't even keep one friend in them unless they got something they want. Nowadays, vampires are fantastic. They even accept ghosts. And to read their fortunes, their lives are much more valuable. They care about the humans. After all, they are their food. And they go after their lives. They like to toy with them loads. They care about their problems. They want everyone to agree, and they want to be the winners. So they found a way to walk in sun. It took them a long time. They found it almost unfair, and then they found a way. And now they live like kings and queens, or at least I do. Now, on to the next card. So vampires had their ways, but they were always seeking knowledge. They had lots of things to buy. They would never run away. They even had a few run-ins with some pirates who weren't at sea. They would bargain, they would barter, they would help them all the time, but they even had their fights. Pirates aren't what you like. They're who you punch, kick, and run, and get tied. But the vampires could take them. They had problems for them all, and they would steal the pirates' treasure, then bake them if they tried to fight. The vampires moved to France. They stole the pirates' boats. They even stole their crews, and they even stole their maps. They wanted to see who would win. They wanted to see who would lose. And they never wanted to see the sea again after that boat. They loved it over in France. Nothing. They really had to adjust. And they never wanted to feel bad. So when they landed, everyone went munch, munch. And the story is true. That was it for that reading. These vamps, they drink a lot. And these fairies, they want flowers. As for the dark mirror, your soul. These cards, they know all. So give a like and subscribe, because these cards, they have magic. There's so much more to life. Bye.